Hey, 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 welcome everyone. It is June 14th, 2024. This is the BlueGamer Bluecast morning show, and I, a 30 plus year professional video game playing enthusiast, Adam Blue, will talk about the latest video game news, what I've been getting into, all sorts of that cool, fun stuff. I am glad it is Friday. I've had a great work week, but a busy one. I am looking forward to spending more time playing video games this weekend. I was a little too busy this weekend to really do a lot, but I figured things out along the way. Sometimes the weekday turns into what I do to troubleshoot issues I come across with playing a game or whatever. Yeah, and morning, GMKLX, Autonomous. Good to see you guys here. So one thing was I'm glad my camera's working fine because something happened yesterday where the frame rate was low, and Steven, my cohort at Midnight Hatter, who's on the Gundam Explained show, was like, no, it looks fine. And to be honest, when you're streaming and you have these small little boxes, you can't really tell. But this morning I fixed it. It made me a little later than I wanted to be, though, to start this up. But we're here. We're going to start up. We're going to start with what I've been playing, and easy way to do that is just to look at Exophase. Again, exophase.com is what allows you to aggregate all your video game activity into one. So yeah, still playing Portrait of Ruin. I got my characters to 20 yesterday. I beat the giant flesh cube bad guy, that boss that's like in all of them. Well, I say flesh cube, but it's really like a whole bunch of humans that are in a ball. I think there's a name for it too. Legion. That's right, Legion. The Nation of Fools level. I remember when I first played this game, Portrait of Ruin, and I got to that part. Portrait of Ruin, classic Metroidvania, except they changed it to where you'll get to a painting that you go into and then it warps you to another area that's a whole other area to explore instead of being all in one place. Anyway, I always hated it because it was like a circus, and that's already freaky in the first place, and then it played this circus music that was grating, but pretty good. That was one of the standout memories for me when I originally played this game. Back like that was a long time ago. I think that was 2007. But yeah, I played it again recently on 3DS and beat it. Now I'm doing it again on my my little baby here that I love. The that's actually already playing the background music, but yeah, I just enjoy it so much fun. But while I was then, playing that, I then jumped into, because I like Gundam and I cover that on another channel, I was wanting to play some arcade games. That what's really neat is over on my right, wow, and it's playing a Gundam game right now. So on my right, I have this, I have one of my retro emulator handhelds that have a whole bunch of games, and it's synced to a display so that the display just plays screensaver of all the different possible thousands and thousands of games. Every once in a while, it'll show a Gundam game, and I'm like, what Gundam game is that? And so I was notating them down. I think, yeah, I put it here. Or, I mean, it's right here on the screen, actually. Mobile Suit Gundam Final Shooting, which was a light gun game that even with a D-pad, it's actually pretty fun. It plays the music, the pixel art's awesome, it's fast-paced. Then there's Mobile Gundam EX Review and Mobile Suit Gundam, just Mobile Suit Gundam. Both of these are like fighting games, and I think one is the sequel to the other. So what's interesting is I was like, wow, I need to try those out. So I wrote them down, found them on my emulator, and was playing them. And what was interesting is I'm playing this. Actually, I need to pull up this other link so I can show you guys what I'm going to talk about. Or do I already have it up? No, okay. So when I was playing, I was like, man, I would love to have my own light gun set. And I've done the research. And unless you want to spend a lot more money, which the features aren't really much different, this seems to be the best option to get a light gun. Because it's a light gun with the foot pedal and a little adapter so you can plug in multiple light guns, multiple foot pedals. I think this is a good price. And it's made to work with RetroArch, which is another cool thing. So yeah, doing research, there's a handful of companies. There's a company called Sindel. There's another one that's has a 4 in it. uh, but after doing all the research, this seems to be the best because it has built-in recoil. Again, it has the pedal, and for this price, this is excellent. I really want to get one anyway, because my idea would be, yeah, I have my emulator. Now that these retro handheld emulators easily do HDMI out, I could just take it to any TV, have the light guns, and have some fun with people. I really want to get that and do that. So basically what I'm getting at is and I lost where that, from this, from playing the final shooting is where I was like, you know what, I want to get back into the light gun games. There's so many. I used to play them all the time. And then when they started coming out on the Wii, the problem was the way the Wii worked, the remote was shooting wasn't the same as if you were using a light gun. So anyway, I'm excited to get into something like that here pretty soon. Ultronus, man, I remember having a light gun bazooka growing up. Was that the Super Scope 6, perhaps, or maybe something else? I know there was that. There was the Menacer on Genesis. And then it started getting really good. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. And then it started getting really good, like on, PlayStation, Dreamcast, where they were pretty much the arcade ports. I played House of the Dead 2 so much. And there's a rumor of a House of the Dead 2 remaster coming to Switch. But yeah, light gun games, classic, fun. Would love to get back into them. Yeah, I remember when I was first living on my own in my living room. I had it set up to play light gun games. It was a lot of fun. I need to get back to that. So really, other than that, that's all I was really doing. I didn't even jump into Call of Duty yesterday as much as I want to. That Gundam stuff is cool, but it's not like super enticing. There is a disconnect between a Call of Duty fan and a Gundam fan, even if there's crossover. The things that I like about both are not similar to one another. So I think it's hard for me to be like super enthusiastic about doing all the event campaigns in time to unlock all the Gundam stuff. It's cool, but I don't know. It's almost like the time it takes to unlock that stuff, it's like they're having people play Call of Duty instead of a Gundam game. I almost feel like they did that wrong. Yeah, I love the skins, but having a timed event, I don't know. Let's see. Midnight Hatter, RIP Light Guns. We need a modern version that isn't just motion controls. Oh yeah, you might have missed it, but that is what exists now. So I'm gonna try to grab onto that. Well, I guess not officially. So yeah, you're right. There's not official light gun other than the motion controls. But luckily, things are sold out there that you can plug in, use the RetroArch. So I'm excited about that. I think I'm gonna get this for sure. Autonomous, get on it, indie devs. You're the only ones saving old concepts and gameplay styles. Yeah. Jim Kill X, they still make some through Raw Thrills. That's right. Yeah. So that's what's cool. So there is, if it's a newer game, it's harder to emulate it, but even some recent ones from the 2010s have actually been ported to emulators. So, yeah, Dave & Buster's, I have one just right near me. Yep. Yeah, because I wanna go through and play all the Alien games that I never played and beat. Sega had some awesome Alien shooters. I think it was an Alien 3 shooter. Oh, my DS just started playing by itself. What happened? Okay. That was weird. Anyway, so light gun games, definitely. What else did I pull up? Yeah, this was neat. Obviously, that's what caught my attention. But it was actually the first American Nintendo TV commercial. It was a different company, like Mego or something, that actually, yeah, they just had this cool little commercial in 1980 of, people playing the little Game & Watch. Yeah, from Mego. So it was one of those things where I guess they licensed that out from Nintendo to distribute here in the US or something. But kind of neat. Kind of neat little time capsule thing I didn't really know about. Okay, so let's jump into some news, see if there's anything interesting. Because I almost want to say there's not. But we'll see. I don't want to be so negative so fast. All right, Helldivers 2 story mode, not happening. Sorry, bro. So, hear me out. Yes, Helldivers 2 is super popular, but there's been talks of that drop off. Even with the drop off, it's still super popular. It's one of those things where, they could easily get into territory where we're like, well, now we have this expectation, it's not doing it, so now we're just gonna. And it's like, no, they can't do that. And this also is that other point. I think when you're designing a multiplayer game that's supposed to be played multiplayer, you should have a story mode. And that's the best way to say it, actually. I would sometimes say campaign mode, single player mode, but I mean to say story mode because it can be multiplayer. And the point of it is to really have you go through a story, because otherwise, you could just play matches all the time. And so, Jim Kell, oh man, that was so funny. The Helldivers 2 story mode answered, because there'd be these titles of these articles that I'm finding where someone asks a question, they say it's answered, and then you have to, anyway, you guys know, that's hilarious. But I do think it's very important for these multiplayer games to have story modes, even if they're not long, even if they're just 6 to 8 hours. I think what that does is it allows people to get some breathing room from the kind of fast-paced nature of always getting into a multiplayer battle. It's like, okay, this mission's over. All right, guys, let's all meet up back in the thing, and let's get our stuff ready, and then get in the thing, and then let's go. Whereas I would like, and I will use the Evil Dead game as an example, because the Evil Dead game had multiple story missions. So I can't complain. It could have been done better, but they still did it. And yeah, when I wasn't wanting to play multiplayer, I was like, cool, I can run around as Ash. And they even have a level where you go to the castle. And it's, that's pretty cool. And so I think it's important. I think any multiplayer game needs to have some sort of story section. I mean, look at Fortnite, how people are sticky with Fortnite because there's those other game modes you could play, which are more like narratives. Like, there's games people are designing in Fortnite that are free that you can play. That's really like, I played one, with my brothers, where it was like some horror thing, and you were like running around fighting zombies, and it had like levels and paths, and it was Fortnite, and you still gained XP at the end. And I was like, that's pretty neat. So I would say, yeah, for now on, there needs to be some good. Any multiplayer game needs a story mode. I am glad Call of Duty has always kind of been like, yeah, let's tack on a story mode in some way. Black Ops does it really well. Modern Warfare, I think, does it really well too. It really depends on the Call of Duty, but yeah. So moral story here is you can make a multiplayer only game, but you should have some sort of story mode to kind of help people maybe get more ingrained into the story, so that when they're playing multiplayer, they feel a part of it, or to give people that kind of release of they still want to play the game but not have to go through the online motions, which are samesies. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. First Lollipop Chainsaw Repop trailer revealed. That's cool. So this is that James Gunn written game. Let's see. That was made. Oh, why am I forgetting the dude that made this? Dragami Games has released the first official trailer for Lollipop Chainsaw Repop, the highly anticipated remaster of the 2012 zombie slashing title that James Gunn once worked on. In the inaugural trailer, we get a glimpse at the hack and slash style gameplay that's prevalent in Lollipop Chainsaw. But I was hoping they were going to say who the original developers were. I totally forgot. Wasn't it like Suda51 or something like that? Oh, JamKillX. My God. Yeah, it was Suda51. Okay. Let's see. I just wanted to take a look at it. I mean, obviously, there's reasons I like this. I mean, you're fighting zombies with a chainsaw, but you're also looking at a good-looking female protagonist, so that helps. So yeah, this is something that I would totally play. It's just that type of, it's all about the gameplay, the action. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah, I'm totally down for this. Totally down for this. All right, let's move on. So, oh, wait a minute. Did it say anything about when it's coming out? Nope, just says that it will be released. Okay, well, at least we've got that. All right. Oh, through Grasshopper Studio. Okay, so that was the other part I remember, but I wasn't sure. Yeah, thank you. Um, okay, so From Software Boss would like a Bloodborne PC port to happen. So of course, in my opinion, I think a Bloodborne remake is going to happen. Now, it's not going to be From Software that does it. It might be something like Bluepoint, who did the Demon Souls. I'm just surprised Demon Souls isn't on PC yet. Maybe it was made from the ground up to not be able to be ported, or maybe they plan to do that eventually. But that would be a big win for Sony if they released the Demon Souls remaster on PC. That would be insane. But you know what? Here's the other thing, and I don't know how true this is. The Demon Souls game on PS5 looks so good and plays so good. It's still, even today, I think one of the best looking and playing games right now. Just the frame rate, the graphics, everything. Better than their other games, in my opinion, that are on PC. I wonder if it's hard for them to port it to PC, Demon Souls. If you guys haven't checked out how that game looks on PS5, it's probably the best looking console game still. I mean, you get like Hellblade, but there's a difference between making photorealistic, amazing looking graphics, but then incorporating amazing looking graphics within a game where you're constantly moving everything around in the world and interacting and being able for it to be all fluid and flow together. So, From Software's never made a remaster. The closest they did was when they redid Dark Souls 2, but that was just because of the complaints about it, and it was done by a different team. It wasn't done by Miyazaki. If there's a Bloodborne PC port, it's going to be Bluepoint Studios or Sony. And I wonder if it would be more of a... And I don't know. This is one of those things where if you do a Bloodborne remaster, do you make it a PS5 or PS6 exclusive, like at first for a little bit? Do you have it also come out on PC? Because that game would sell like crazy on PC, but it's also a good way to get people to stick with PS5. It's like Sony and Microsoft are going to have those games. Even the games, Microsoft announced that were not going to go on PlayStation. It's still, these things are up in the air, and it's very interesting to see. But I do think a Bloodborne remaster has to happen. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be on PC. But I do think it would be on PC. But then that means Demon Souls would have to be on PC. You see this logic chain I get stuck in? We'll see. Because, dude, I would totally play through Bloodborne again. That is the game that really got me into Souls games. At first I was like, they're okay. They're just really hard. It takes time. But just that world I was in Bloodborne made me want to keep playing. And yeah, and then it all clicked. Okay. Warcraft's general manager has left Blizzard after 12 years. Oh, well, good run. 12 years is a while. Yeah, exploring opportunities. Good for you. It's even been around longer than 12 years. Crazy to think. Okay, digital launch plans confirmed ahead of news. So, September release date. Excellent. Okay. And that's right around the corner. I mean, that Elden Ring DLC is upon us. And oh my gosh. Let's see. Paper Mario debuts #1. Oh, that's good. Good for that. I haven't played that one. I don't know if any of you guys have. I want to play these, but I don't know how engaged I could get. I feel like sometimes I miss out on stuff just because when I look at it, I'm like, I don't think I would get into it. But I probably could. Okay, that's the guy that left, so, safe travels. Yeah, the From Software boss is saying they would love more players. Okay, the way he's wording it, it really does sound like this is something then that is in Sony's court, and they're waiting for Sony to do it. Let's see here. Oh yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Kind of, there might not be too much more news today then if we're already getting to things announced before. That's not too interesting. Man, there's not Switch versus DS sales comparison. That's interesting. Although then I have to take my time looking at graphs and squinting and being like, what? Oh, okay. They use colors. Thank you. Man, the DS was insane. The DS had a greater trajectory at first, but then it slowed down, and then the Switch just. That's why Nintendo hasn't released a Switch 2 yet. Wow. Game Boy Lifetime, and then you see this purple dot at the top here. It's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Kingdom Hearts series now available on Steam. That seems like a big deal. I don't know about you guys, but this seems like a big deal. Oh, Midnight Hatter, the DS was way more affordable too. Great point, actually. Yeah, because I remember when it first came out, I was already living on my own, so I bought one, and then my brother, still living with my parents, they got him one. So it was like the very common, yeah. Yeah, and I had multiples. Then they came out with the Lite. Then they came out with the DSi. That was a cool time. Those games are great. That's why I have built my own DS. I need to give it a name. But anyway, yeah, is anyone playing Kingdom Hearts? Because, like, this is a game that's talked about a lot where people like it. I can't see myself getting into it. But that is so cool that Square Enix has done this. Some more games getting a wider release, especially older games. Huh. Wait, so you get all of them for $68.99? That's a weird price, but that seems, and I don't know the games that much, but that seems reasonable. That's very cool. Metronomus is saying, when I was younger, I played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, but that story, it's too much to endure for the gameplay. Ah, one of those. I get it. And so I wonder if there's any quality of life improvements in this where you can kind of like skip story stuff. I don't know. I don't know. All right, Prince of Persia Lost Crown headed to Steam August 8th. That's interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's available everywhere else. I guess that's a kind of a smart move for Ubisoft. It's like, it is available if you want to play it. And then down the line, once the sales are at a point, release it on Steam. I mean, yeah, that's smart. I like Ubisoft. They don't make like the best games, but I feel like their games are like trying to be good, and I see it. Because I've had a lot of fun with Ubisoft games throughout the years. Okay, Panzer Paladin out now for PS4 and Xbox One. That's cool. I didn't know it wasn't on console. So Panzer Paladin is like tribute games. They've done a lot of. I think they even did the Ninja Turtle game, the brawler that came out recently. Panzer Paladin is kind of like that. That's really neat. Wow, so it came out on Switch in 2020. That's interesting, doing these staggered delayed releases, because I think it helps sometimes. Because it's new. It's new for someone else, Oh, the new Dragon Ball game. It's funny how I talked about how I played that other like Kakarot game for like a weekend. I haven't touched it since, but that was like a fun weekend of spending like 3 to 5 hours playing the Dragon Ball game. My son hasn't even gone back to it. That doesn't seem like anything important. I tell you, like, I don't want to get into it, but for as much as people complain about Twitter, but then they complain about it not being a certain way, and it's like, it's almost like people are wanting to just bathe in their own filth of Twitter, and it's like, they did a thing recently where you don't see who liked a tweet. I think there should be this little more. Because it's, you've heard of subtweets, right? Where it's the idea where you could tweet something, but the nature of how you're tweeting or how something's being reposted or responding could have this like underlying drama. I think we need to remove those things just to make it where it's simple. You could post an idea and people could respond or not. I don't know. That's not really here for this. Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition trophies emerge. So there's always things with leaks, with either a sequel or a remake, remaster, which they already released one. But hey, trophy leaks are a good way to figure out about something. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I don't know if there's that much more interesting stuff. Let me look and see if there's something I didn't cover yet that I had planned. Oh yeah, there we go. Xbox signs agreement with Panache. There's probably multiple ways. Assassin's Creed's creators studio for new project. So this is another example where, like, you know, Microsoft laid off a whole bunch of studios, but then it's like, okay, now they're going in and acquiring or making deals. Like they had Toys for Bob, they let them go, but then signed a deal for them. So it's really neat. So it's like Microsoft cleaned house. They're like, okay, we got to start from scratch. We got to clean up. Let's remove these things that we know aren't working. Let's keep the things that are. But then let's make these deals and agreements with outside companies. I think that's a really good way to go about it, because there's going to be this own integrated management structure that might do a better job of managing the development of a game versus Microsoft's historical take, where it seems to be that they have a dev studio, and as the managers, which is a good thing in a way, Microsoft's like, okay, do your thing. But we've seen over time how games then come out, like we could talk about Redfall, but then the same thing happened with Halo Infinite. I don't think people realize both Redfall and Halo Infinite went through where they had long dev cycles, were delayed, had content cut, then released where they weren't really the finished product. And both of those are completely different scales of games, different studios had the same issue. So if Microsoft's kind of going with this thing where they're like, okay, we're going to contract agreement, make a game, they already have their own in-house management to make sure the game meets the needs. I think that's the way to go about it, right? You could have the developers, but is maybe the value in management? The value might be in management. That might be different than like a smaller dev team where you have like a group of people that are just excited to make a game. That's going to happen. But when you have like a bigger game, you need to have good management. So maybe that's what Microsoft's doing here, which is pretty cool. Let's see. Oh, they're saying it's Unreal Engine 5 and could be that 1666 Amsterdam, which hasn't that been in development for the longest time? Could be. So then it could be it where they're like getting it exclusively or something. I don't know. All right. Well, is that it? Today was kind of boring. There's something I wanted to do and I didn't have time to set it up, but I'm going to do it next time where and I think this is a good idea where like every once in a while I'll play a game for like 10 minutes while we talk. It's mainly going to be if it's something new or a demo or something interesting that would be part of the, and I almost had that set up. I just didn't, because Steven, now that you're in here, at the beginning of the show, I figured out what was wrong with my camera. Because I was saying yesterday, I think there's something wrong with my camera, and I figured out what it was. It was when the video mode was in manual instead of auto. So with it in manual, depending on the light, it was lowering the frame rate in order to get all the visuals in or whatever. So maybe that's too technical for this. Man, I wish I could run Unreal Engine 5. My computer melts when I fire it up. Yeah, and that's this thing. It's like, do you even need Unreal Engine 5? When on one hand, yeah, why not? It's a free tool. But then there's the other tools like Unity and stuff. Even, my son was talking about that, how like like Unreal takes up too much space on his computer, so he just uses Unity. Which I get that. Yeah, so. Well, real quick, what am I going to play this weekend? That's actually a good segment I should have for Fridays. And you guys type in what you think you're going to play, and I'll get to that here shortly. I am going to continue enjoying my time with my custom DS. I'm actually going to try to make a video about it so I can explain what I did, where I got each component. Maybe north of 200, I think, if I'll calculate it, but a lot of it, you could buy a used DS for that. But I'm going to be playing like Portrait of Ruin. I think that's all I'm really going to do on emulator-wise. Actually, I think I'm going to play one of those Gundam games because I want to cover it from the Gundam Explain channel. And then, actually, let me pull something else up real quick. And I know I'm going over a little, but I think I got some time, and it's a Friday. Let me go back to my screen share. So I downloaded the Yars Rising demo. I really want to play that. Might do some Call of Duty. It's really just to unlock that other Gundam stuff, but I don't feel super motivated to. You know, especially with the Black Ops 6, it's in a different engine set so that none of that stuff is going to carry over anyway. And then there's Fumes. I was watching David Jaffe play this the other day because, you know, he's the Twisted Metal dude and God of War dude. But he was loving this. I was watching. I was like, man, this looks great. Like, how to do car combat. So I'll probably play that a little bit. Maybe Sulaco, because I did pay for that, and there's 30 missions I could be playing right now, so I might do that too. And then you never know. A lot of times, like, a random game will pop up I've never heard about and play it and be like, this is awesome, and then obviously I'll talk about it Monday. But let's see. Oh, Jim Kill X says, I would definitely recommend to try Paper Mario. It's a really silly classic. Okay. I'm going to do that, because I think I even have the previous ones on, you know, the Switch online. Minnow Hatter, I may play more Metal Gear Solid 5, Ground Zeroes, or Prince of Persia on Xbox. I am farming for fun mechanics. Ah, okay. Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, was there something else I saw recently that... Oh, I think I sent you. Yeah, that video from that Bloodstained. Yeah. Ultronimus, either State of Decay, or Disaster Report 4 for Pride Month stuff. Okay, State of Decay. I remember I first played that when it came out and loved it, and then I just forgot about it. State of Decay is pretty cool. All right, Jim Killax, Shin Megami Tensei, I think I said 5, Vengeance, and Monster Hunter Stories 1 re-releases, so I got to pick those up. May play more Rise of the Ronin. Great idea. That's one that I want to get to. So, like, Stellar Blade, Rise of Ronin are 2 PS5 games I haven't played yet that I need to. Maybe I do one of those this weekend. Anyway, those are good picks. I'm going to have to keep those in mind. Well, thanks everyone for joining. This is the Friday edition of BlueGamer Bluecast Morning Show. Hope you have a good weekend. I'll be back Monday, talk about what I've gotten into. You know, Monday's usually loaded with all the games I played because I played more on the weekend. But also let me know what you ended up playing when we meet back up Monday. So until next time, have a good one. See you guys later.